How's everyone doing today? I hope you guys are having a blessed day in the Most High, and that everything is going okay and that you're being safe and all is well. So today I'm coming to you with this special video. Yeah, you know all my videos are special, but this one is particularly special. Not only is it special, but it is going to be very informative. A lot of young sisters today want to learn how to do food preservation, as like with canning and food storage and long-term storage. So what I decided to do today was just take the time and make the video and just show you guys some of the basics, so you can get started. Okay, this is not going to be in depth, but I do have a video that goes further in depth that I made a few years ago. If I remember, I'll link it. If not, just look for it, in my videos. Okay, so the first thing we're going to hit on in food preservation, since everybody wants to learn how to do this, is canning. Okay, so we're going to start off with some basic information and things you need when you want to start off with canning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything set up, then I'm going to come right back. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, the first thing we're going to start off with is our steam canner. Okay, a lot of people, will be new to a lot of people, even those who can. What a steam canner, what a steam canner does is it steams instead of you submerging it all in water. Okay, and it uses a whole lot less water than this is what it looks like. You have the bottom part, and then you have the tray. You always have to have something at the bottom because you can never set your jars directly on the bottom of the canner, okay? And with this, what I was saying, you only need 2 quarts of water for this to steam can. And on this also has a gauge. Let me come up so you can show you the gauge. And you'll see, let me see, okay, can you see it? I don't know if it's clear, but if you can see, there is a little black dot on here. I don't know if you can see that, but the black dot is my area, because when you use the steam canner, it's going to go all the way. It's a green area, and it's going to go all the way in the green area, and it's going to stop whatever your altitude is. Because I'm above 1,000, so I can add between 10 and 11 pounds of pressure. So it'll stop where it needs to be. If you're lower, it'll stop in your zone, and if you're higher, it'll stop in your zone. And the only difference is you don't use as much water. It's the steam that does the canning. You use the same basic canning times, okay? Because if you're canning jam, say my area, jams and jellies, I can for 10 minutes. And so that means after the 10 minutes, I stop canning. I turn it off and let this just sit there for 5 minutes and just leave it alone until the 5 minutes, then I can take the jars out. But this I got from Amazon, so just go on Amazon and put in steam canner. If I remember any of this stuff, I'll try to put a link to it. This is very reasonable in price. It's a whole lot cheaper than a lot of them, and you can get okay, let me back up because it's some very important information I need to put in here. With this canner, just like a regular water bath canner, and let me get this so I can show you this one too. Alright, this I would use for a water bath. This is basically a stock pot, but that I got from my granddaughter. Her and her husband left and went to Korea, But she's in the Army, so she gave this to me. So I just got a rack to put in it. You know, to if I want to can with this, you know, a full water bath. But why use all that water in this one when I can use this one? Okay. Now, with this, you only can like jams, jellies, pickles, relish, tomato sauces, and all that kind of stuff. You cannot can vegetables or meat. Any low acid food you cannot put in here, just like you cannot put it in a water bath canner, okay? That's why when we're going to get to our pressure canner in a minute. But basically these two you work the same, except for you use less water with this one, okay? Now, like I said, this is your steam canner, and this is a full water bath canner, okay? Now, let me move this and bring this. Okay, this is your pressure canner. Wait a minute, I forgot something. This is real life here, so y'all know I always forget stuff. Okay. All right. This canner comes with the regulator, okay? It's got the gauge and the regulator. You know, that's what it comes with. Because like I said, where I live, I would can with this, with the regulator on here, on what's called 11 pounds of pressure. And whatever it tells me to, I would put this on. Wait, before I put this on, it'll get hot. And then there's a thing in the back. What's in the back for me? Right here, that'll pop up. It's your pressure top or whatever. But that'll pop up. And what happens after that pops up, then this little thing right here will steam. Steam will blow out of here. And then when it becomes to a steady stream, you're going to time 10 minutes. And after the 10 minutes are up, you're going to drop your regulator on. And then you're going to let your needle go to wherever pound of pressure that you're canning at. And when it gets there, that's when you're going to set your time. Okay? Like here, you know, you're going to can from anywhere from 20 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on where you are and what you're canning, okay? But, okay, now, talk about the regulator. This comes with, this is a Presto 23-quart canner. I should have said that first, but I didn't. But anyway, it's a 23-quart canner, and it comes with the regulator, okay? Now, this is okay, but you really have to keep an eye on your gauge to make sure that your needle doesn't go too far back and it goes too far up. Because if it goes back and you lose your pressure, you're going to have to start all over again from the beginning. You're going to have to take the stuff, let it cool down, take the stuff out, take the lids off, put new lids on, and start from ground zero. Okay, you're going to start all over again. And that, you know, I have never had to do that, but, you know, yeah, it would be a nuisance if you did. So, I prefer using a weight. Let me come up so you can see it. This is a weight. And right now, this weight is at 15 pounds per pressure. Because the higher up you go, the more pounds you're going to pressure at, okay? This is for like people, what, over 3,000, 8,000 feet up, way up in the mountains. Okay, and like I said, this is 15 pounds right here. That's them. Okay, now, what you do, let me show you. You take one off, and this would be 10 pounds per pressure. This is what if I use this one, I would can at 10 pounds, and this is what I would use. But anybody under 1,000 feet, like when I was in California, I would have to take this off and do this. This is 5 pounds of pressure, okay? And what I like about this, let me come back around. What I like about this one, I have my 10 pounds. I let my airflow come up, and it'll come up, and once it's steamy, gets to where it's supposed to be, I put it on, and I just wait for it to jiggle. And if it jiggles too much, you lower the flame down, and it's sort of just be jiggling at just a steady, you know, a hula rock, a smooth rock, a gentle rock. Okay. Now everybody says that you don't need to use the gauge, but on mine, once it hits 11 pounds per pressure on this gauge, it stops, and this thing will start jiggling. And as it jiggles, you know, you let it, you know, once it starts jiggling, you get it to where you want it, then you start your count. You set your timer and you start your count for how long you're going to can, okay? Yeah, but I prefer this, and I even prefer this for beginners because this is no worry. You know, you still got to keep an eye because you're canning, okay? Still got to keep an eye, but you don't have to sit there and watch the gauge to make sure it stays on whatever pounds per pressure that you're canning on, okay? Now, that's the canners. You have your steam canner, your water bath canner, and like I said, the water bath canner is what you do all your fruits. I mean, not your fruits, but your jellies, your jams, and all that. And this is what you do all your vegetables, your fruits, your grains, your meats, and all that kind of stuff. Anything that they consider a low acid food, you would do in the pressure canner. Because if you mess around and try to can like meat and vegetables in a water bath canner, you can poison you and your family with what is called botulism, and you don't never want to do that. So, and always get you a canning book, okay? Let me see. This is the only one I got now. I got to get me another ball. I have this Complete Guide to Pressure Canning. This is a good one. It has some nice recipes, but your ball Complete Guide to Preservation. Well, anyway, it's a ball book, and it's got a lot of jars on the front of it. And you can get that off of Amazon too. So, yeah. Okay, so that's your canners, all right? And here, like I said, your regulator, you can use it if you want to, if you don't mind sitting, you know, watching the gauge. But if you want to move around a little bit, you put your weight on, okay? This is what I prefer. All right, now we're going to go over some of the things you're going to need besides your book when it comes to canning, okay? So what I'm going to do is get set up for that, and I'll be right back. Oh wait, I forgot one thing about the pressure canner. Well, any canner. I think I told you guys you cannot can without putting the jars on the bottom of the canner. Okay, this came with the canner. Okay, you get one rack, but I got these because if I can't double stacking him only with pints, and I'll show you what a pint jar looks like. I can double can, I think 7 quarts and 16 pints, and I forget how many half pints, but this is, whenever you double can, you're going to have another rack to put on top of your first roll of jars, and so you always make sure you have extra racks. Okay, now I can get ready to set up. Okay guys, we're back. Okay, let me take a sip. All right. Some of our tools that we need when we can. Okay, first of all, we're going to need jars. Okay, you always going to need jars. All right. Okay, let me start telling you the basic jars that people can with. You have your half-gallon jar. People make broth and soups and all in this. But the one they use the most is the quart and the pint, okay? And with these jars, you have what's called wide mouth and then you have regular mouth, okay? It just depends on which one you like the best and what you're using it for. Like last week before last, whenever that was, I canned potatoes and I put them in the wide mouth, but I used the regular mouth a lot, okay? Because what I'm trying to get myself to do is pick one, so when I get ready to order lids, I only have to get one side lids, okay? And that's what these are. You have your lids, and you can only use these one time. This is your wide mouth, and this is your regular mouth. And these are your bands. This is your band for your wide mouth, and this is your band for your regular, okay? And these are, you can only use one time. Like I said, you can only use them one time, and that's it. But what's good about it, if you're going to store food, long storage food, you can use these again, okay? Then I'll show you, discuss that in a little bit. Okay, now these, how they come, you can buy these. This is the ball lids, wide mouth and regular. Or you can buy them with the lid and the band together, okay? So, but, okay, like everybody says, get ball or curve, because well, let me say this before I go in there. Don't order no bands off brand name lids, I should say, off of Amazon, because they're made in China and they're cheap. It's all get out. They don't seal most of the time, and especially when you pressure can it. So always get what works. Okay, we have ball, we have curve, and there is another American company called Denali. You know, Denali was put together by a group of canning enthusiasts, so I'm quite sure, and they're here in the United States. I think they're in New Jersey, and I'm quite sure that they probably make a good lid. And I have reusable lids on the way. I was hoping they would be here by now, but they said it was going to take a while, because anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, because you know so many people have ordered them, and I do want to get those, and I want to order. Because I got a set of 50 of regular mouth, and I got a set of 50 of the wide mouth, and you get the bands to go with it. When they come, I'll show you guys how they work. Okay, but I think I want to order another set of regular mouth and some new bands, because the bands you can use I think 3 or 4 times, and then you know they don't want to stick anymore either. Okay, now these are your jars. Okay, I got 2 type of jars here. Ball jars, and these are Anchor Hockey, okay? When I found these by accident. And when I saw Anchor Hockey makes a canning jar, I was totally surprised. I didn't know that. But they've been making glass cookware for years and years. I know some of you guys probably got it on in your, you know, in your cupboards, in your cabinets. You know, and I got the quart size, and then I have there's pint size. I don't have a pint size of the ball, but they make a pint, and they make a half pint. So yeah, but what I do know though, if you see other jars and you don't think you want to can in them, because I seen another jar at the Ace by my house. And what I think I'm going to do, they're a little cheaper. I'm just going to get them and use them for storage. I'm not even going to try to can with them. I'm just going to use them for storage. You know, that way it can't nothing happen when you store with them. Okay, now, the next thing you're going to need is what's called a canning kit. And in the canning kit, you get what's called a jar lifter, okay? And how you use this by picking up the jar, putting it in the canner, and then you use it to pick up the jar and take it out of the canner, okay? That's your jar lifter. And you can get all this stuff, you can get on Amazon. Just put go to search and type in canning kit. You can find all kinds. And then with that, you have what's called a measuring and a debubbling tool. Because when you can, after you put your stuff in your jars, you always want to go back and take this in, and you want to go down in there to get bubbles out. You never, or and hit the jar on the table a little bit if you can, and get the bubbles out, because you don't want a can with bubbles in there. Okay, so that's what you do with this. And then this end is your measuring end, because everything is going to have a different place to put. Most soups, beans, sauces, and all that usually go down an inch, right to the band. Then you have some that come maybe 3/4. I haven't had anything 3/4 yet. I haven't had anything really half yet. But I have had things that's 3/4, like jellies and jams. That's always going to be a 1/4. Not 3/4, but a 1/4. Yeah, and you measure to make sure it's in the right spot. So that's what this is for you. Okay, then you have what's called a magnet. All right, we don't do it as much anymore, but you still can. Like when people boil their magnets, you just put them in some hot water now. You just use that to pick up your jar lid. No, I don't want that one. That's the big one. Let me do it this one. Okay, you pick up your jar lid, you put it on your jar, and then you screw on your band. Okay. Where did this come from? This is the extra one I was showing. Okay. Now that's this. Okay. Then you have your funnel. Okay. What you gonna do with this? And see, I like this one because it also has a measure on it. Let me bring it up so you can see it. See? I don't know how clear that was, but what you do with that, you scoop your stuff in. Wait a minute, one more thing. I'm missing one more thing, y'all. Y'all know me. Okay, you need a ladle. I like this ladle because you can hang this, like if say you're making jelly, and as you're canning, you can just hang this on the inside of the pot where, you know, it won't drip all over the place. And this will measure one of these. Okay, this is a pint. No, it's a half a pint. No, it's a pint. It's a pint. So you use this and you can fill up this jar with this one ladle. You don't have to get this kind. It's just that, you know, I'm just weird that way. I like my stuff to match, but you don't have to. Anyway, you ladle your stuff in with this, okay? That's what this for, you know. So, that's that. Okay, next. Okay, I already talked about the gauge, the weight, and the regulator, but you should always have extra ones on hand. So, now I got to get extra ones, so always have a couple, you know, and if you anal like me sometimes, have 3 of each, you know, and also, you're going to always have to replace your ring. Okay, wash it. Then they say oil it, but I don't know about the oiling, because oil sometimes causes rubber to break down and it gets sticky. You know, I know some of y'all know what I mean, but just wash it really good. And I mean, if you're gonna oil it, don't oil it all, you know, too much. Yeah. Okay. Now, that is everything, not everything, but most of the stuff you're going to need to can, okay? So, jars, canning kit, you know, making sure you have your lids. Make sure you have a new this and these, and, you know, all this is what you're going to need. These are your most important things you're going to need, okay? So, with that, I'm going to move all this stuff, and we're going to come back and talk a little about storage. I'm not going to go into great detail today. I'm going to save most of that for another video, but I'm going to just do just a little bit, okay? All right, so be right back. Okay, guys, I just wanted to come back and say that if you need me to go into more detail about anything that I've done so far, just put it in the comments, okay? All right. Okay, you guys, I'm back just to show you one thing, storage thing, okay? This right here is called storing, and we call it dry canning. Okay, now I'm going to tell you right now, this is not recommended by Ball or in, this is something that they don't do or talk about. But people have been doing this for years, okay? Let me show you. This stuff is sealed, and it doesn't come out. The only thing that's really not done yet is that pasta right there, because I haven't done that. Okay, how this works is what you're really doing is you're sterilizing your food, and you're killing any larvae or anything that would be in your rice. Because believe me, when you buy rice and you keep it for any length of time and you don't store it right, you will have critters in it, okay? And the critters, sometimes they're already in there, okay? Because of where rice, where the rice comes from. Okay, so pasta too sometimes, I think, and I think, well, everything, if you don't do it right, it's going to have critters in it. So I have black beans, pinto beans, this is white rice, this is brown rice, and this is pasta. Okay, I have to, do the pasta because I got a lot of pasta I got to do. How you do this is you preheat your oven to 250 degrees, okay? You put them in the oven, you get a cookie sheet because you don't want to spill nothing in your oven, because you will do it, because I've done it. You put these in without the tops, okay? And you do quart-sized jars, you do for 90 minutes. You're going to leave them in the oven for 90 minutes. And what that 90 minutes does is going to kill anything that's in here or on there. And like a lot of them says, oh, you can get botulism. No, this is not cooked food. This is dry food. And by it being in the oven for 250 degrees, anything in there is going to kill it. Okay, it's going to kill it. Okay, now, when you take it out the oven, you take one jar out at a time. You put these lids and these rings on. You got to be very careful because these jars are going to be hot. And you put them on and you crimp them down, because when you do canning, when you put the lids on, okay, when you put the lids on, let me show you. You're just going to take your band and you're just going to do it finger tight, like so. Because that's just basically holding the lid down. But when you oven can or oven dry can, once you take it out and you put the lid on, you're going to screw this thing down tight. And they're going to seal just like it would in a regular canner. Like I said, a lot of people, there's some people out there that say, oh, you shouldn't do that. But people have been doing this for years and years and years and years. You can keep, after you do this with this, you keep this up to 15 to 20 years. And it'll still be fresh. When you pop that seal, it'll still be fresh, okay? Now, a lot of people are starting to do, a lot of people are scared of it, but now a lot of people are finding out that it's not dangerous like they say it is. It's just that I believe since they didn't come up with the idea, that's why they think it's not good. You know how people are with that. So, anyway, this is dry canning, okay? You could do this in the big jar, any size jar, but the quart-sized jars and the half-gallon jars are the best to do this in, okay? I only have a few of these, so that's why I chose to do it in these. Okay, now, this is part one of this video because there's more to go into about food storage, long-term food storage, because there's other things, like Mylar bags, the buckets, oxygen absorbers, and silica gel packs, and so forth and so on and on and on and on. There's so much that goes into it, okay? So right now, I'm going to stop right here And we're going to do a part 2 to continue on with the long-term food storage, okay? So, if this is the first time you ever watched any of my videos, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, hit the like button, and share if you think this information is important, okay? Because like I said earlier, a lot of our sisters are just now wanting to learn how to do this, y'all. And right now, in this day and time, it's important that you do, okay? But that's going to be a video for another day. All right, so like I said, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and share, okay? And you guys have a great rest of the day. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.